This is Gshock GW9400, aka the Rangeman. And there never was, and there never will be, better Gshock than this. When it comes to Gshock, for most people, it might be better if they don't buy one. Because with Gshock it's never just one. But if this was the first Gshock I ever bought, it might have been the only one. Yeah, I don't believe it either. But as far as Gshock goes, this is perfect. The Rangeman is a part of Master of G line, and in the Gshock world, it is as good as it gets. It's supposed to be the toughest, the most capable line of watches. And indeed, it is one of the most capable and functional non-Bluetooth heart rate smartwatch watches that you can get. In that line, you got one for water, one for air, one for mud, apparently, and one for earth. Just by looking at this thing, and I gotta say I like looking at this thing, you see it means business. It is big, rugged design, and let's be honest, for most people, absolutely overbuilt. But most G-Shocks are, right? So what makes this one special is that the layout on this one is absolutely perfect. Just look at the buttons. They're big, metal, gnarly, and by a mile, the best buttons on any G-Shock ever. It is an incomparable experience to press these buttons compared to something like my G-Shock Square, where, let's be honest, if you don't have fingers of a 5-year-old girl, you have a hard time to press them. And it also has few more buttons than the standard G-Shock has. There are 6 buttons on this thing, to be precise. One is the dedicated light button. A lot of G-Shock have it, and all the G-Shock should have it, really. And then there is one more, pretty big one, that is called sensor. And that sensor button is a big part of what makes this watch a big deal. See, the watch was first introduced back in 2013, and it was kind of an answer to a lot of G-Shock fans' prayers. It was the first G-Shock to rock the ABC sensor, altimeter, barometer, compass. Until that point, the triple sensor was only exclusive to the ProTrack line. Yeah, it might be something that most people don't need, but to my surprise, I find it way more useful than I thought I would. To be completely honest, I kinda ignored this watch for a long time. I wanted the watch after I saw it in extraction on Chris Hemsworth's wrist. But now that I got it, I quite quickly realized that I was stupid. I should have bought it a long time ago. It is the best designed G-Shock ever, and I promise you that. To begin with, when you say G-Shock, to me personally, they should be digital. Less moving parts, it feels more reliable, and also the nostalgia kicks in stronger. Number one reason of that perfectness is the display and its layout. As a lot of Gs, it's got quite a lot of going on. But unlike a lot of other Gs, a lot of the things you see on the screen are functional. It displays time, date, and the day, or the barometer sensor, which if you ride motorbike, hike, or you're out there camping, it's an awesome thing to have on your wristwatch. It can help you to predict if the weather is gonna go downhill or get better. The rim of the display is quite visibly solar panel because, it's a tough solar movement. And it's multiband 6, so it charges itself and it sets itself. There's this ring or an eye or whatever you want to call it that can be gimmicky or functional depending on the mode you're in. In the standard timekeeping mode, it counts seconds. Yeah, we've seen it on a million other G-Shocks. In stopwatch mode, it goes bonkers and it's pure discoteca. And in compass, it's a compass. In a world time mode, it shows the difference between your time and the time you're checking in. The overall layout is perfect, legible, and once again, functional, and well thought out. For instance, the darker part of the screen, it displays date. In almost all the other modes, it displays time. And that is one awesome thing, for instance in stopwatch. This quite immediately replaced my G-Shock Square as my sport watch. And I use the stopwatch when I work out. And I see the time now. Not to mention the stopwatch here can be activated with one button from the timekeeping mode. That is so good if you're used to using the stopwatch every day. It is a little thing, maybe a silly thing, but it makes you so happy. Life consists of the little things. Another great thing about having more button layout, that when you're in the menu with more options, like world time, you can list both sides, up and down. And that is something that has been driving me crazy on most other G-Shocks. When you're in world time on G-Shock Square, and you accidentally press the button one more time than you wanted to, you have to scroll through all the cities until you find the one you originally wanted, only to press the button one more time again. For some reason it doesn't work in all the menus like in alarms, but there are only 4 plus the snooze alarm, so that's not such a big deal, but yeah. There is a proper 24-hour countdown timer, world time, and another great thing, sunrise and sunset. And again, if you're out there riding a motorbike or camping or hiking, that is an incredibly useful feature to have on your wrist. It takes the data from your hometown. For it to be more precise, you can set your longitude and latitude. But in my experience, at least where I am, it works very well by just setting the hometown. And then there is this recall function, which you can use to log the data from the sensors together with the time and blah blah, and then later on browse them. Yeah, this feature kind of feels like indicators on BMW. They are there, but most probably nobody's gonna ever use them, maybe by accident. Another great and well thought out thing is that since you have so many modes and only one mode button, you can return to your home screen by just pressing and holding the mode button. Again, little thing, but makes your life a lot easier. All these features work so well on that screen. It's so well thought out. And we have to talk about the biggest button, the one to rule them all, the sensor button, the one with the red accent. That is, of course, the one controlling the ABC sensor. When you press it, it will immediately take you to whatever mode you were previously checking on, which again is quite convenient. If you're only used to checking barometer or altimeter, you don't have to list through them all to get there. Altimeter mode can show you your current altitude, of course. Plus, if you reset it, it can show you the elevation you have done on your track. Super easy to use, super easy to read, well thought out. Then you have compass, and well, it's a compass. It's pretty self-explanatory. You know, it points to north and it tells you your direction. So, and then finally the barometer. That is the most useful for me. Plus, it also measures the temperature. So it's kind of like 2 for 1. But I find the temperature to be a bit off. I mean, unless you take the watch off and leave it hanging for a couple of minutes, it will tell you your temperature. I know, it's all nerdy and gorky, and you should totally take it as a reference device rather than having your life depending on it. But it really does work very well. And to have all that on your wrist in a watch that is not a smartwatch, you find yourself reaching for those functions way more than you thought you would. At least I do. Plus, I think it looks pretty damn good. The red accents are very tastefully placed. It doesn't feel overused. I especially like the name of the model being in red. It tends to disappear against the solar panel, which has sort of a reddish hue. But then when the light hits it right, it reveals itself. And it kind of feels like dramatic reveal of a title of a movie. The Rangeman. The resin case feels great, as on most other G-Shock, like great quality, durable, tough as nails. And they try to make it look more badass with these screws, which I'm pretty sure are just decorative. The lugs are screwed. Just look at the strap. It's 22mm for the most part, with this double locker clasp and the keeper, metal keeper. That is just lovely. I mean badass. And one more absolutely genius feature is that all the rubber bands around the world should have, and that is this raised notch at the end that prevents the keeper from sliding off. That is another small thing that is so functional, and I really do wish that all my other rubber bands had it. But there is no denying it is a big watch. It's 55.2mm in diameter, depending how you measure it without those protruding guards or sensor, and whopping 18.2mm thick. That is almost 2 centimeters thick. That is quite the opposite of slim. I don't really know what the right measure of the lug to lug would be here. Just take my word for it. I got 7-inch wrist and the watch wears awesome. I honestly thought this would be too big for me. Now I am sure that people with a lot smaller wrist can pull it off too. It just melts to the wrist, which is strange because it's not even the lightest G-Shock out there. It's got 92 grams. It's got one problem though. Wearing this made me feel very strange about wearing my G-Shock Square. It suddenly feels too small. And it made me hate the buttons on Gshock Square. Because these buttons, once again, are perfect. Whatever you're doing, whether you're wearing motorbike gloves, you're sweating in the gym, or you're covered in mud, you will be able to press this. They are very tactile, with the right amount of resistance. You kind of want to press them all the time. The caseback is screwed on as on most other G-Shocks, but there's this compass-wearing cat creature in the middle that is kind of notorious for Rangeman. And I love it. I would honestly have it tattooed. Then, of course, because it's Casio, you have all the possible specs listed around, together with a model number, water resistance. If in case I didn't mention it or you didn't know, it's 200-meter water resistance. And yes, there is a new Rangeman. So why am I sitting here talking to you, singing love songs about this 12-year-old model now? Why to get this one over the new one with heart rate sensor, new screen, Bluetooth, and God knows what else? Well, because the new one is kind of ugly. I know it is a lot superior watch, but to me these new feature pack G-Shocks kind of lose their magic. The G-Shock magic. That simplicity, that retro, rugged design, that simple screen. I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me. It feels like Garmin, not G-Shock anymore. I love that classical G-Shock design. And this watch, it's an absolute pinnacle of that design. It's unmistakably G-Shock. It is big, loud, tough as nails. It is designed for the harshest environment you can think of. If there is something this watch wouldn't survive, you don't have to worry about it. You wouldn't survive it either. This is Gshock GW9400, aka the Rangeman. And there never was, and there never will be, better Gshock than this. And that is it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. If you didn't like the video, I thank you for watching this far. And let me know what you think about Rangeman. Do you have it? My name is Karel and this is Watch. Till next time. Cheers.